Now joined by our race-winning crew chief and team owner, Mike Wheeler and Joe Gibbs. Gentlemen, congratulations on the win tonight. If you could each just talk a little bit about this win and as well as the momentum heading into the chase next week.
Obviously, this win's pretty big because it's Denny's home track. Haven't won here in a long time, so it's been on our calendar to actually perform here and go into the chase pretty hot. I didn't think I'd come in the weekend, winning the pole and being 4 laps shy of leading the most laps, but winning the race. It's really good that we put a total team effort in between pit stops and strategy and A team and B team and everybody involved. That it was a good team effort to win this race. Pretty happy where we started the year off with a win and came back with a win. I think we were 4th in points for the segment. Pretty proud of that. Looking forward to the chase.
Coach, if you could just share some of your thoughts as well.
Yeah, of course, it is Denny's home track, but we love coming to Richmond. I think this racetrack produces great races. Tonight, I thought that was a heck of a race. A lot going on. I thought the crowd was great. We love coming here with our sponsors. We have our sponsors think this part of the area is a big deal for us, and we have a lot of hospitalities here. And so for FedEx, really proud for them. Being with Denny the entire time, really with the exception of that first half of the year, being in our sport, controlling the whole car. It's one of the, I think one of the most powerful companies in the world. And for them to be in our sport, love it, it's just a huge deal for us. So Fred, Mike, Glenn, Raj, all the guys at FedEx, we say a big thanks. I thought tonight it was a total team effort. Wheels made a great call, keeping Denny out. I didn't think we could hold them off, particularly on that last restart. They were right behind us, and I thought that would be tough. Denny drove his heart out, and it was a total team effort. Our sport is a team sport. It takes everybody performing, including pit stops and everything. So, Lord bless us with a great night. We're just proud, in particular, for everybody back at the race shop, JD, everybody back there. We just say a big thanks to them because they work so hard during the week and they really don't get to enjoy things like tonight. They don't get a chance to be here. So we're going to try and celebrate a little bit with them on Tuesday, and then we start holding our breath next week.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll start in the middle with Jonathan, then go over to Bob.
Questions for both you guys. Jonathan Merriman, NASCAR.com. You've had all 4 cars locked in the chase for quite a while now. A lot of people save their best stuff for the end of the year. So my question is, if you can tell me, what kind of stuff do you guys have in the barn at home that you guys are going to roll out here in the chase?
I don't think you hold back much right now. Obviously, you're continuing to develop to be better. But honestly, the last month or so, we've been making sure we try to maximize everything we have. I will admit, first, after we got the win, I was on R&D mode for a bit. Like, I got this crazy idea. Let's try it. A couple of them worked. 3 or 4 of them were failures. But honestly, once we got down in points, I was kind of a little bit embarrassed. So really made sure get everybody together and run into the straight chase strong. Been pretty happy. We had like 8 straight top 10s. I think it's the best time Denny's ever had, consistency. With that, our pit crew's knocking out of the park right now. We're doing good on Fridays and Saturdays. I think our qualifying average is as high as anybody. Finally got a pole. Just happy about that. But I can't say I've been holding back. I'm making sure that we get in through the first round by running good and making sure we maximize what we can and obviously try to perform at the highest level and win some races.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob and then go back to Kenny.
Bob Hockers, ESPN. Coach, Toyotas have led over 50% of the laps. You've won half the races or more. Is there any reason to think that you all aren't the favorite for this chase?
Yeah, I think the other cars that are out there, there's so many, I think, well-prepared cars. I think this is going to be a battle. I think the other thing, there's no way that you can, I think, pick a favorite right now because it's really 3 race playoffs. And we saw in our history, Denny's been knocked out, Kyle's been knocked out with just kind of weird things that happen. You can't afford a bad race. And so I feel like what we tried to do this year, when I watched the crew chiefs, drivers, and everybody, we just tried to go every week and be as good as we could be and race as hard as we could. I think Wheels said they tried a few things earlier in the year, but really each and every week I felt like we kind of went after it, and we felt like that was the best way to prepare for the chase. And so really our playoff is one where, you know, you got to be consistent, but you got to be on your game and racing extremely hard. So, yeah, I don't think there is a favorite right now. I think everybody that's, you know, in there is going to have a shot. We saw 78 last year go all the way to the final round. A single card team, all kinds of things can happen in what we're doing here. So, I think it's a greatest reality show going.
Next question from Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. That's sort of what I was going to ask both of you, but if Mike could answer that. When we go into the garage, a lot of times the question is, okay, how are you guys going to beat the Toyotas? I mean, do you guys feel that pressure? Do you feel like you're walking around with a target on your back?
I would say I feel pretty confident in our cars, and that's a good feeling to have. You know, we've been in the past in the chase going, you know, we can win some races and then we can be good, but you always had this feeling of you can get beat, you know, or you know, if you're not at 100%, you can get beat. I feel good now that if we hit 100%, we will win, and that's something you strive for. It's the only problem is there's 4 to 5 of us that we share notes, we work together, we do the best we can for, you know, not only Gibbs Racing but Toyota, and like Coach said, all it takes is a flat tire or a crash and you're out. But saying that, we're going to do the best we can. We're going to work together. We're going to do everything we can to get the speed out of the car that's possible, and hopefully end up front.
Any additional questions for Coach or Mike?
Yes, we have a question up here.
Okay. Go ahead in the press box.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Wheels, what was going on with the tires tonight? I mean, either Goodyear didn't plan to bring enough, or the track was so abrasive that it just, you know, chewed the rears real bad for a lot of different people. I mean, where did where was it? Where did we miss this?
You know, truthfully, it's always been part of our sport. The Xfinity side last year, I lived it every week. You're at tire limits. And so many trucks you went to, you knew you had to make tires live 40 laps or 60 laps or 20 laps, whatever it was. This week, you know, NASCAR and Goodyear, they basically limit you to, I can't even tell you tires now. I think it was basically 10 sets of 9 stops. So we basically had 40 laps per set. We had to average. Sure enough, this is the first race in many, many years that we had caution to caution, and tires mattered here. I mean, you lose a second or two in 10 or 15 laps, and you didn't want to be sitting there out on old tires when guys had new tires behind you. Another 42 put tires on after 7 laps and came from 14th to like 5th in like 3 or 4 laps, and it's part of racing. You know, it actually makes it partially good. But what happened there at the end, most guys only have 1 or 2 sets left to do 120 laps, whatever it was. So we had to, you know, salvage them best we could. Because you wanted to make sure you had tires there in case you get a caution with 10 to go, and sure enough, there was a caution with 3 to go, and I thought we were going to pit, but I looked down at so many cars from the lead lap, and I knew we had to stay out, so fortunately that worked out. But as far as the tire deal, I mean, they could always add more tires. I don't know if it actually would change the outcome that much. Probably be more expensive in the process, but at the same point, it's part of racing and makes it exciting.